I was eating my breakfast and apparently I was the first person that she named, and I'm like spitting up my sandwich, or almost. I'm like, wait, what just happened? I don't know. I figured since I have the nice lighting up that I'd vlog as well. So, just finished doing my unboxing. I still have my candy in my mouth. It is so good. I'm a tea girl, but give me a good cup of coffee or a coffee candy and I am all about it. I guess what I kind of wanted to talk about was the Game of Thrones, like, fiasco yesterday, you know, because it always takes everyone about a day to start talking about it. And first of all, like, tag your spoilers, and use Game of Thrones or GOT. Like, it's not that hard, and that way that I can mute everybody. But all the worst spoilers that I've been trying to dodge have not had any tags. I'm upset. Second, I feel like I was angry, but not for the same reasons as a lot of people, and frankly, the way that people took the writing, I think that they took it too far. Honestly, especially when we're talking about Brienne of Tarth and how she cries over Jaime leaving. You can be a strong woman and still cry, and we should be seeing more of that.
6 hours later.
I'm probably going to delete most of what I just said because it's complicated and it requires a lot of picking apart particular scenes, particular actions, multi-season. But long story short, I think that people went overboard and the echo chamber right now is so loud. I went to bed last night angry because the things that were problematic, people were overblowing, and the people who were trying to argue against the severity of everyone's reaction were getting shot down. And it has a lot to do, I think, with cancel culture, which it essentially makes no room for caveated arguments or more subtle arguments. I know this is Twitter, I know this is social media, Facebook, whatever, but it's how I connect with everybody, you know, especially in the booktube community. So it was really hard to try to talk to people yesterday, or to even honestly just scroll through my feed and see what was up with people without getting really emotionally invested in not necessarily what I was feeling about the show, but about how people were being treated within this huge fan base. I don't want to be part of a toxic fan base, but Game of Thrones is becoming very toxic. And again, I'm not talking about necessarily like people who found issue with what happened in the show with Missandei, with Sansa, with essentially a lot of the female characters. It's the way that people who want to make more subtle and caveated arguments are being treated within the community. On happier notes, I am about 50% of the way done or thereabouts with 1,000 Beginnings and Endings. So we've just switched over narrators in the audiobook. Honestly, I wasn't sure if Scribd had just gone to the next audiobook, or if I was still reading the same thing, because also the male narrator that we've just crossed into narrated the entirety of Winterloon, and I was very confused for a moment because I DNF'd Winterloon. So I was confused. So far I'm kind of 50-50, depending on the story. I've liked a fair amount of them so far, but there's some I'm like I could have done without. I didn't feel like they either accurately represented the thing that they were trying to represent, or it just didn't speak to me in some way. But I think I'm gonna do a deep dive review of each short story, perhaps June afterwards, because I need to start doing reviews again. Still doing that, actually I'm in the middle of reading The Savior's Champion because I need more indie published things to read. I'm probably gonna try to do The Boat maybe tomorrow or the next day, because it's on the computer and apparently it's interactive. I just looked at it like the other day. Really excited for that. And that's kind of it for right now. I guess I will see you tomorrow. So I just finished the boat. And it's not that I didn't expect it to be heavy. I just think that I didn't expect it to affect me as much as it did. Overall, I gave it 4 stars because the beginning was a little rough. I missed an entire line because it broke away, and I couldn't reset the scroll back far enough where like I could read the line again. Also, some of I was a little distracted by a couple of like the flashing light bits, and I know that was kind of the intention, but I got a little distracted that way. I'm also not sure how I feel about the optional side stories that you can get more information. I kind of like that if you want to, I don't want to say be more accurate or get more information, but because that's kind of the whole point of those. But like, I almost feel like they shouldn't be optional. They feel more like they are definitively a part of the story and things that you need to understand in order to fully take in what's happening. And honestly, like, even if you already know some of the information or you can surmise some of the information, the visuals and the specifics that they do give you are really kind of mandatory. So I'm not quite sure why they chose to break it off instead of within the scroll rather than breaking away, if that makes sort of sense. But it was a good story. I was trying to look it up on Goodreads because I was like, okay, this is a graphic novel. Apparently this is based on a short story or a series of short stories by Namle. I think that's how you say that name. I'm sorry if I'm fucking that up. Yeah, I think maybe at some other point I will actually pick up that short story collection and see how it compares. I think that it's a pretty true adaptation, but I would still like to see what other information, what other details that they were unfortunately not able to capture in the graphic novel. But that'll have to wait because I am already very depressed in just sadness or something. I literally just finished it before recording this, so I'm a little frazzled, but I wanted to give you that reaction for this blog. I feel like I'm gonna be doing this a lot, where I finish a book and I chose a lot of depressing topics, a lot of depressing books this month, so it's gonna be a fun ride. I'm giving myself a little bit of a break, so I think I'm gonna try to hit the Gilded Wolves next, because at the very least I know that the other two are going to be heavier books, so I'm going to try my best to be a little bit more happy or something in between times. So I guess I will see you whenever.
If this city was a kingdom, I'd want you to rule with me. Still worried for your safety after all that tomfoolery. And I know I'm probably freaking out foolishly. I just don't want the next thing that I...
Okay, I swear these are different days. I've been working a lot, so we're in the office again. I've just got done eating breakfast, and the Wild Sasha just did her Infinite Booktuber challenge, and I was eating my breakfast, and apparently I was the first person that she named, and I'm like spitting up my sandwich, or almost. I'm like, wait, what just happened? I don't know. But I didn't get to vlog yesterday because I didn't get a chance to vlog yesterday because I forgot. Let's see, what is going on? I don't know. I got some more work done. Honestly, I'm considering whether or not I want to discuss in depth my work in progress. So Here we go. Currently, right now, I'm working on a retelling of A Grimm's Fairy Tale. It is number 35. Probably gonna get that wrong, but the number will be here somewhere. I can't say it in German. Allerula? Coat of 1,000 furs, or many furs, or 1,000 furs. There's many different translations for it. But essentially, it is a tale of a princess who loses her mother, and when her mother is on her deathbed, she makes the king promise that he will not remarry unless he finds a woman who is just as beautiful and has her beautiful golden hair or something. Several years later, the kingdom decides that, you know, it's time for him to remarry and have a queen and stuff like that because the kingdom is suffering. And they search and search and search, and the only person who is as beautiful as the dead queen and who has the beautiful golden locks is his own daughter. And he's like, yes, I must marry her. Because this is apparently a thing in like fairy tales. But the princess is quite clever, and she says, I will only marry you if you provide me a dress that shines like the sun, a dress that shines like the moon, and a dress that rivals the silverness of the stars, and also a cloak made of every fur, every type of fur found in your kingdom, so 1,000 furs. He agrees to the terms, and months later, he presents her with the 3 dresses and the fur cloak and says, all right, tomorrow is our wedding day. So again, she's quite clever. She apparently has a magic walnut that she puts all of her dresses into, and the cloak, and a golden spindle, a golden ring, and one other golden object. These objects actually don't really matter, because when I first heard this story, they completely like took out the golden objects, but whatever. She runs and runs and runs in the middle of the night. She runs so far that she actually falls into the neighboring kingdom, and she's wearing the cloak because it's, you know, cold out in the forest. The next morning, a hunting party, along with the neighboring kingdom's prince, comes and finds her, but they think that she's a funny looking animal, but she talks, because apparently the dirt and the cloak has magically concealed the fact that she's a human being. She doesn't want to reveal who she is because she might be turned into the kingdom, and she ends up being essentially a kitchen servant for the prince because reasons. We gotta get her and the prince together somehow, right? Going on, there is a ball, and she decides that she wants to attend, and she does so. She takes out the first dress of sunlight, and she attends the ball and catches the eye of the prince. They dance, and when it gets a little too intimate for her, she runs away because all she can think about is the fact that she was supposed to marry her father. Back to the kitchens, and the head cook, whatever, tells her that she is in charge of making the soup. She does so, and she plops her ring in the first soup, hoping that, you know, to get the message out essentially that she's in the kitchens because she's regretting her actions. So when she does this, the prince asks who made the soup, and the chef said it's this creature, and the prince was like, oh, alright. He doesn't really ask about the ring, but he keeps it. The next month or something like that, there's another ball. She decides to attend. The whole thing gets over. She puts in the spindle in the soup because the prince asked for her to make the soup again. Does so. He finds the spindle, and again, they talk, they get closer, she's quite clever, blah, 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 blah. Next month, there's another ball, and she's about to attend with her beautiful gown when suddenly she finds that the prince is dancing with another woman, and she gets all upset, goes back to the kitchens, makes the soup, and puts in the final object again. I can't remember what it is. He finally says enough is enough and goes down and talks to the funny coat, and when he takes off her cloak, it's revealed that she's a beautiful princess instead of, you know, this weird funny looking creature. They all live happily ever after. It's one of the few Grimm fairy tales where that actually happens, despite all that. But also, it's actually one of the more, I would consider, feminist Grimm's fairy tales, because there's no prince that comes and saves her. She uses her own mind to sort of save herself, and so I wanted to retell that, but in a less prince and princess falls in love and more, you know, oh shit. Sorry, I just like spilled my tea everywhere on accident because I cannot be trusted with liquids. So this retelling is going to be more of a forbidden love type thing, also love triangle, because love triangle, why the fuck not? I'm sort of struggling with that because, like, I had this vision of the main character being a huntress. The scenario that I was thinking of is that she's gone on a morning hunt with her brother, and as they're coming home with the kill, their path is blocked by a wolf. And instead of, you know, trying to kill it, she sort of, like, throws a deer leg at it. The wolf takes it and leaves, and they go back to their village, and the wolf keeps coming back to her with presents. So, like, different types of animals that she's not seen before or that are really difficult to get, and so she's planning on making her own cloak rather than these things being gifted to her. There's a love triangle involved, there's going to be a curse involved. P.S. It's the wolf. I don't know. I mean, there is an actual prince who comes and sweeps her off her feet, sort of, kind of, not really. He's not a typical, you know, Prince Charming, even though that's kind of what he looks like on the outside. And there's really not going to be a villain per se. It's just going to be a struggle, I think. I'm not 100% on that because I don't want it to be a complete typical YA romance. I don't know. It's still sort of in the early stages. I'm a little less than 100 pages in to the first draft. I know that sounds like, oh my god, you're 100 pages into the first draft. That's like almost done. That's almost done with the first draft, and it's getting pretty bad. The beginning was really strong, but I'm not liking where it's going, and I'm thinking I'm gonna have to cut a lot of stuff because yeah, we're not even to like the first ball yet, you know, because there has to be a ball where she transforms into a beautiful princess or something like that, and I'm 100 pages in. I don't want it to be a trilogy either. Like, I feel like that would suck. I am overwhelmed with the amount of work that is in front of me, because I also want to try to finish up The Gilded Wolves today, because I actually got through like 90% of it yesterday. I'm very proud of myself for that. But the last couple of hours, like, I'm struggling through because I'm listening to it on audiobook, and if you've listened to it on audiobook, then you know that the male narrator, and even to some of the point the female narrator, it honestly sounds like I'm being read to by a computer, and then they switch over to a French accent, a bad French accent, by the way, and it's just, I don't know, like, it bugs me because he talks like this, even when it's in the middle of a sentence. Just more inflection, more tone. But yeah, it's a thing. I'm also struggling because I read Six of Crows first, and this is sort of reminding me a lot of Six of Crows. Not because it's a heist, not because they're all supposed to be sort of like in their teens to early 20s. It really has to do with the fact that the main character, Severin, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, he and Kaz are comparable-ish, and like, truly, I feel like the only truly, like, what feels like an original character is Zofia, and that's because she is neurodiverse. I believe that she's supposed to be on like autism spectrum, but they never really specify. She doesn't quite understand social interactions so much, and she counts a lot. So I feel like she's a really original character, and I love how well thought out she was, but everyone else feels a little cookie cutter, and I'm struggling with that. But Zofia is really sort of bringing this together for me. I'm enjoying the world, if nothing else. The forging aspects of it are really good. I enjoy that a lot. I enjoy that it's magic-y, science-y, steampunky things. I'm not, you know, it sort of goes in between all of that. It's quite fun. And the different types of things that you can do with it. I feel like I believe all the things that forging can do without being explicitly told, and actually, like, you know, what the parameters of this magic is. And frankly, like, that's really a good thing, considering a lot of times when there's something sort of new introduced to our readership, if it's not something that already has a precedent, which I don't know if this 100% has, in order for the audience to really understand and believe in what the magic is. I'm actually struggling with that right now myself with the manuscript that I was trying to sell to agents. Yeah, I'm impressed, but overall, like, unless this ending just like blows it out of the park, this is probably gonna be like a 3-star read. And I kind of feel bad for saying this because I really have Six of Crows in the back of my head when I'm listening to this story, and it's not fair at all, but the similarities are too much for me to ignore. So that's where I'm standing with that. I guess I will try to vlog tomorrow. I have to go to the doctor real quick, nothing serious, but lingering cough and all that, and yeah, need to get that checked. And then I don't know where I'm gonna go from there, because usually husband is home by then, and we do like shopping and stuff like that, so we'll see. I guess I will see you soon. Okay, it's Sunday, and I've actually gotten through most of my Asian Readathon stuff this week, so I'm wondering if I should like tack on other books, because I wasn't expecting to actually get through a lot of my reading this week, but okay. I finished 1,000 Miles to Freedom yesterday. It was heavy, but not as heavy as I thought. I think mostly because there were sort of breaks in between when she was recounting her story to sort of explain, you know, her hope and her desires for what this book would represent and what she would do in the future, and it was very hopeful at the end. I understand that, you know, she escaped, she's now a South Korean citizen, and there's a lot to be hopeful for once you've already survived a situation like that, but it was still done in a way where I didn't feel like I was going to go in a depressive spiral at all times. Everything was enough, which I was very surprised about and also very thankful for. It's definitely a book I would recommend, and frankly I think is rather important at the moment, and not just because of what is happening in North Korea, but just generally around the world with refugees and such. It really sort of puts in perspective why someone would leave a country that, you know, they grew up in and love and really have no hatred for necessarily, but just a situation becomes such that it's time to leave, and it's unfortunate. Yeah, there's a lot going on with that book, and yeah, I think it's kind of a must read for everyone, kind of no matter what background you come from, I think. So the next and the last one on my list is going to be The Astonishing Color of After. I thought this month was going to be like really heavy and really moody, but it's proving to not be as moody as I thought. The topics that I've chosen are very serious, but it's not sending me into depression. Taking this weekend to sort of take a break and playing a lot of Don't Starve, if you know what that video game is, because it's kind of my favorite at the moment. I'm getting a lot of stuff done. Not a whole lot to update except for the reading stuff. I'm gonna try to do more of these vlogs because I don't know, I enjoy them. They're kind of easy to do and to sort of recount my reading week. Keeps me a little more honest when I don't read. Really quick, I wanted to thank Jaded Reader because she is a doll and shared one of my videos and actually got me a pretty big boost in my subscriber count over this last week, so thank you so much. You are wonderful and a sweetheart. Go to check out her channel if you haven't already. She does a lot of good reviews. She has a lot of good manga suggestions, and she's generally just a really awesome person, so go see her. So I guess that's it for this week, and thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button and the notification down below if you haven't already. And yeah, share. We're only about 12-ish or so people away from the giveaway, so keep sharing, keep liking, keep subscribing. It'll be awesome. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
She said it will never go away. I know there is nothing left to say. Can we try to hold on just for now, even if we don't know how to show them what we're all about?